Welcome to episode 22 of Fables from the Pickled Quipper. I am your host and Master of Dungeons, Phil, and today we pick up with the adventurers now known as the Hand of Aegis, returning back to some familiar caves where their little kobold buddies reside. Let's see what happens next.
So yeah, welcome to session 22 of Fables from the Pickled Quipper. I got the name right first time. That's all I really care about. I don't care that you're just trying to upstage me by going, wow. Don't care one bit. Quick recap of session 21. Silverius went to pray in the shrine, did some self-searching, and then presented the information from the Fulrith regarding Duarte. Esker disappeared off into the forest, had another meeting with Kindrith, elf / dragon. The group gathered together and did some talking. Severus and Cosette had a little heart-to-heart on the way to the Fulrith. The Ethrial was completed after the name Hand of Aegis was selected and presented to Ilescu by Bardor. And so now, the Hand of Aegis are the official owners of the Pickled Quipper rubble.
Huzzah.
And after going to review the remains of the Pickled Quipper, the party headed on down, back treading familiar paths, some 20 sessions ago, to the caves, where the bonds of friendship were first forged, or possibly animosity first stirred. Maybe both. So yeah, we are back here in the cave mouth. You take a look around. Certainly the entranceway seems very similar. Your visions are not great in the dark, and that is what is greeting you as you look further into the tunnel.
I'm having trouble seeing, and I cast light.
Can I see if there's any potential traps or anything? See if they've geared up more.
You can make a perception check as well. You don't see anything. I think it looks safe from here.
I'm not looking for anything in particular, but I am staying towards the back and just sort of keeping a general. I'm just letting you know that I'm at the back, keeping a sort of general eye backwards occasionally.
Yeah, I mean I'll be moving more towards the front, especially since this is more of my terrain.
So Bardor is taking point. So Esker's at the back. How's everyone else stacking up?
I might be up there.
And Claire will be behind Silvarius.
So you head down the tunnel, and there is it goes on a little way, and then eventually you come to a left turn, and you get back into familiar tunnels. As you get in there, fog starts to fill up the path around you. Reminded of a very similar situation many moons ago, and visibility becomes almost nothing.
If I cast Gust, does it affect the fog at all?
No, it remains there.
Okay, I stopped doing that.
It swirls and makes it slightly harder to see.
I try it one more time in Silvarius' direction.
Silverius, make a strength saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
I forgot it does that.
Didn't you get in a little tiff about this before?
I mean,
It's cool, y'all.
What's the DC?
But
the DC is going to be 15.
Silverius is pushed back 5 feet.
stumbling.
Oh.
Before he looks back around very angrily.
Oh, sorry, Silvarius. I couldn't see you through the fog. I was just trying to see if I could move it slightly.
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
Who dares enter the lands of Volvo?
That's what I was waiting for.
I guess it's a good thing we're not trying to be quiet.
Gorbo, come on out.
You wait a second and you hear from down the hall a little pitter-patter of feet. Eventually, the fog starts to clear, and out through the little hole you see a little kobold. Oh, hello. It's been a while, hasn't it? And he kind of turns to his right, and then looks away a little sadly and looks back. Sorry, we didn't realise it was you. We still have everything set up as before, you know? Right, yeah, so, okay. Well, welcome back. Did you want to come and see Gorbo again?
We have a bit more discussion.
Okay. Right, follow us. I mean, follow me. Lead you back down.
Phil, you haven't killed off one of our beloved characters, have you?
He leads you down some very familiar path.
Oh no.
So if you care to follow.
I think I'm done, y'all.
Yeah, I don't think I can handle this emotional trauma tonight.
Yes, I can.
He says, now be careful here. You just got to, you got to step over this one, remember? So if everyone can please make a dexterity check as they come through this area right here.
Yeah.
23.
16.
At least
Wow.
both your rolls were bad.
So as everyone just easily steps over the little tripwire here, Silverius kind of comes through a little rashly. How close were you guys walking together? Like, were you sort of 5 feet apart, would you say?
I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't say otherwise, so
We're all 5 feet apart except for Silverius, who is 20 feet apart from everybody else.
Okay.
Exactly.
So,
Nobody likes me.
Bador,
yes.
you daintily walk over the tripwire with no problems, and then you hear a bang behind you, and turn just in time to see a cloud of small needles spewing up around everybody. Oh my! Does a natural 20 hit?
For who?
For
Everyone?
you. No, for you.
Does it? Well, yes.
Okay. You take 2 piercing. I need a DC 15 con save, please. This is against poison, so you probably have advantage.
Okay. 22.
Okay. You take 3 points of poison damage. Silverius. Does a 19 hit you? Just hits. Okay. It's 2 piercing, and then I need a con save from you as well.
21.
Okay. 2 points of poison damage. Claire.
Yes.
Does a 15 hit you?
No.
Sorry. No, I forgot to add the modifier. Does a 21 hit you?
Dang it.
Well, that was mean.
Yes.
I'm very, very sorry.
No, you said 15. No take back.
Whatever you say first, there's no take backsies.
We should
Until
be
it-
careful about that for later on.
Yeah,
Very true.
yeah.
1 point of piercing damage, and then I also need a DC 15 con save from you.
Okay, mine'll be an advantage too.
Yeah, you're plenty good. So that's 8 reduced to 4, reduced to 2 poison. And then Cosette, I'm pretty sure this won't hit. It's a 13 to hit on you.
Correct.
Okay. And Eska, you just sort of like lollygagging behind a little bit, and you see Silverius trip, and you just watch as these little needles just spray from all around the others and narrowly miss you. So you continue forwards. Splik just sort of looks back and says, "Oh, now they got to reset that. Oh, everyone all right?" And he kind of says it in a way to suggest that he's not actually going to pay too much attention to the answer because he just assumes that you're probably fine. So we continue on. You can easily step over the bells.
Clara reaches out her hand to hold Silverius's hand as he steps over the bells. Make sure he's, steady.
He just pulls his hand away from Claire and doesn't even make eye contact. You hear him mutter something about
The other one looked different than last time.
Claire's cheeks are puffed up with repressed laughter.
And eventually, you come back to the familiar, and seems to be a fairly jovial mood. You can hear a little bit of music going on from some of the side caverns. Splick brings you forward into the main chamber, and you see Gorbo up on his throne with his warriors alongside. Here's Mr. Gorbo, Your Majesty. I present these people who were here before.
Welcome back, people who were here before.
Savarius nods and
Gorbo,
Yes?
how have things been?
he looks around.
Seems to be quite the celebration.
In truth, it's not really a celebration. It is more of a... We are trying to forget.
And he looks over to Splick. Gazing around the room, how does everything look compared to last time?
It's a little hard to really gauge what's going on right now. They seem to be pretty jolly. You think, but you're not necessarily an expert on sort of like kobold culture.
One of our number was taken below.
You sense a little hesitance in the voice.
How long ago? By what?
We're not really sure what took it. Or him, I should say. As to when, it was only a day ago. But in the past, nothing that has gone down has come back up. None of ours, at least.
What do you mean by taken down below?
Steve, we told you before of the way further down, deeper into the caves. Yes?
Yes, but did he venture down there on his own, or?
He and Splick were set to patrol that area where the entrance is. We usually let them travel together, you see. Splick was in front. He looked ahead. There was a sudden yelp from behind, and suddenly he was on his own.
What does
Sign.
Splick look like? If I look over to
Make an insight check.
18.
Pretty much devastated.
Yeah.
He kind of kept up his cool demeanor, but now that it's been brought back up, he's looking, looking beaten and broken.
Do we recall? I don't know if it was mentioned or not. Are they brothers or just really close friends or what?
Yeah, but a clue actually.
What's that?
I don't think you have a clue. I don't know that any inquiries were specifically made.
Yeah,
They're obviously life partners. I mean, no one bickers like that, but an old married couple.
So no signs of distress. He was just gone and a yelp.
A yelp, and nothing more.
I mean, we don't plan to go exploring, correct?
The initial thought was in.
Right.
But I fear we may have found ourselves another side quest.
Yeah. I can't pass up a good side quest.
Hang on, a side quest? This is surely a main quest.
Yeah, no, this is definitely main quest territory. I feel like a side quest that's leading it back into the main quest.
The side quest is finding out how we jump to another dimension. The main quest is the quest to save whoever it is. Sprock.
Brock.
Sprock.
I'm good with this.
I was in character. I want to ask some questions before we proceed further.
It's like an eyebrow raise.
Proceed further.
I assume we're going to be going back down there eventually.
What is now the time? We can revisit this thought.
And he looks back to Gorbo.
King Gorbo, we have had a bit of time to acclimate ourselves somewhat to our situation. I am curious more about your book.
Yes, I know of the one you speak.
There was many interesting pieces of information. Is there a way you would allow one other than yourselves to peruse its contents?
That would be most unusual.
These are unusual times.
Let us bring Vola forth and see what they have to say.
He sort of gestures over to Splick, who waddles over to a different area of the caverns and makes some inquiries. Eventually comes back with the one you remember to be Vola. Walks slowly around and comes over and stands next to Gorbo. I don't know if I remember Vola's voice.
Sean Connery.
No, that's Griffin. I've got
Everyone's
more.
Sean Connery.
I nearly did do Sean Connery.
Do Sean Connery pretending to be an 80-year-old woman?
You sent for me.
There you go.
The big lizard wishes to speak to you.
Vola sort of slowly turns to look at the big lizard.
Vola, me and my compatriots are gathering information. Your book and some of the pieces you explained prior led me to wonder if more may be gleaned from it.
What information do you think you could glean from it?
To be honest, I am not certain. But we are searching for more threads that might help unravel more of the mystery.
You had said previously that some things seem to have changed from your one book to the other in the pocket dimension. Has there been anything different that you found?
No, nothing has changed since you were last here. We still have the ancient prophecy telling us of the horned serpent to whom we owe our name.
Was there a name to this horned serpent?
No name. Just the green horned serpent. The great drake. The all-powerful serpent and such forth. But never a name. It is our belief that we would recognize the beast immediately.
Does your book speak of anything? A large crimson dragon, no wings. embroidered in black smoke that leaves smoke in its wake.
Large crimson dragon? With no wings? I know of no such beast in the book, no.
This doesn't sound familiar to you in any way.
Does not ring a bell at the moment.
I'll say to the group, the last time we were here and we slept here, I had a dream about this dragon.
Where did that fit in the timeline?
Am I throwing you a monkey wrench, Phil?
No.
Okay. It fit in. I mean, we were. It was that night, like when I guess we had first met up with the kobold, and they like let us sleep there.
I certainly remember everything that I have said in all 21 and a bit sessions,
No,
word for word.
I mean, obviously, I fully expect as such. I did.
Yeah.
I did write it down as I should come back to this at some point in time, and I figured now is as good a time.
No, it's great time to bring up. It makes a lot of sense. This makes me worried. What else you guys are gonna bring up? I'm gonna. Obviously, I've remembered perfectly.
Phil, I return to the third alcove on the right. Is what was in there before still in there?
You see one of the guards wearing it.
Oh boy.
Gosh.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
Very.
How is he wearing a latrine?
It ain't pretty.
That's
sound like
pretty kobold though.
Kobold cheap.
I thought you were going to say kobold latrine as the name of a band I was in high school or something.
It did sound like that.
Sweet.
I was thinking Kobold Latrine, new band name, I call it. No, we know of no such creature in our prophecy. Dreams do often have meanings, though. So, I wouldn't discount it. It sounds ominous.
Well, speaking of dragons,
Yes?
this giant green one, it was to unite.
Yes, I believe it would unite all dragonkin under its banner.
Is there any large green dragons that are prominent in our history?
Make a history check.
Oh,
Hey!
Wow. Okay. There are some, prominent dragons that have existed in the past who were green, but they are thought long gone, centuries if not thousands of years in some cases. Most of the names are very difficult to pronounce because they're dragon names. There was a pair of dragons that are very famous that were near the Cormanthia Forest, which is near the Moon Sea. Both dragons were known as Venom for short. Venom in Handa for not short. And it actually kind of referred to a pair of, like a mated pair of green dragons. But they were known to have been killed over 1,500 years ago.
Okay, so nothing in recent history.
Nothing in recent history of sort of prominent green dragons, no. And you haven't heard specifically of a green horned serpent, like that terminology.
And looking at the book, how thick is the book?
What's that, about a foot tall? By about 8 inches, and then it would be 3 inches thick.
I'll ask him, do you think there's any correlation between Green Serpent and Drakesburg?
One is a serpent, one is a drake, I suppose. The words have a certain amount of similarity, yes?
What do you know of Drakesburg?
Only what we've heard from those who visit us, and little bits that some of our braver merchants have learned as they've entered Delzima.
But what of the the history of the island? Does anybody know much about that?
We've never really paid it any mind.
Could be something that we look into, I suppose. Maybe there's a story about how it came to be that has some relevance.
I mean, islands are islands, aren't they? They've just been there.
And were you the tribe of the Green Serpent or the Hooked Claw?
I beg your pardon?
Which tribe do you belong to?
The Horned Serpent.
The name Gastry regraced my memory. A previous shaman. Prior to you,
Yes?
was there any oddities of this shaman?
No more than the rest of us. And he gestures over to the kobold currently wearing a latrine as a skirt.
Perhaps that was a silly question.
No. There are no silly questions. The pursuit of knowledge is worthy.
To that end, be there some way that I or one of us could spend more time with your book?
And you kind of see her clutch the book a little tightly as you say that.
This is a very sacred text to us. I also thought that true of the other one.
And you see briefly a little bit of somatic componentry. And then the reaches a hand forward, her hand actually disappears in front of you, and then comes out clutching a second book that looks the same as the first.
This is the book of the tribe of the Hooked Claw. However, that tribe no longer exists. Therefore, this is not a sacred text of anybody. You would be welcome to read this, but I cannot part with the book of the tribe of the Horned Serpent.
If we were to perhaps do you and yours a favor, could they both perhaps be studied in your presence?
Well,
I understand a mutual friend is in danger. Perhaps we could retrieve this friend.
A sort of a pause. And the celebrating kind of grinds to a halt as everyone kind of looks over. And you hear sort of muttering, and Gorbo speaks up.
you would rescue Sprock.
That was my insinuation, indeed. I mean, we would at least try.
If you were to do this, I would insist that Vola make accommodations for you.
I
Indeed.
understand her reticence to part with the book, but perhaps to at least allow us to spend some time examining it in her presence. was, you know.
I will see to it that Vola agrees. And Vola is very intently not looking at Gorbo at this time, as Gorbo kind of like stares a hole in the back of her head. If you are willing to assist in this way, then yes, that will be done.
How does everybody feel about that? I probably should have checked.
Fine by me.
Claire's just been looking at back and forth between Gorbo, but she seems to keep looking back over at Splick's devastated little face. No, I think this is something we have to do.
And as each of you start sort of like giving affirmatives, Splick's face is getting more and more hopeful.
What can you tell us of what happened to Sprock? I mean, what were the last moments that anybody saw him?
Oh, he was with me. And we were down in the corridors there, then at the tunnels, and oh, I was walking ahead because he was walking slow, and so I was saying something about how we hadn't seen any of those long squishy thingies with many legs and things that go or anything like that in a while. And I was expecting him to say, yeah, no, it's been a while, isn't it? And I was going to say, yeah, it's been a while. But he didn't say that. I turned around and the corridor was empty. It was just me in the tunnel.
Would you be willing to take us to that spot so we can get a head start?
I was right where I dropped you off last time, really. Right, it was right near where the, where there's that entrance that leads further down where we don't go.
I guess we could probably find our way back there.
One moment, you had said something long and squiggly.
Well, yeah, we've seen some of those things. Long, squiggly, squishy.
Is that something that's happened quite a bit, or is that something that's been more recent?
No, we haven't seen one for a while. Not since before you people came here before.
It seems there was a run-in with one of these and one of the guards in town, in Delzimmer.
Oh, I don't know
He's
anything
alive.
about that.
He's alive, but he's seen better days.
Oh dear.
Do you have any knowledge of what these anything more of what these things are? I know they're long and squiggly, but they seem dangerous. Can you tell me anything else about them?
Squelchy noises. The creepers and the crawlers. They were the ones that go. But we don't go there. I mean, there were the big furry things that were down at the end of those tunnels. They're bigger than us, so we don't mess with them.
The long and squigglies are?
No, the big furry things.
Yes. Are the long and squigglies bigger than you?
Oh yes, those things are.
Are they really, really bigger?
I
How many kobolds would one make?
don't think they make kobolds. They probably make more squiggly things.
Let's back it up. How many kobolds could you fit inside of?
You hear some sort of yelps from some of the crowd around you.
And I look
So much
around,
better.
not in a meal type way. Come on.
Oh, I see. I think. I don't know. Maybe 2 or 3.
Do you know anything about how they attack?
I think they eat you.
Do they normally stay below?
The furry things come up sometimes, but they often go below as well. We sort of. Oh, excuse me. It's all been very stressful.
Understand.
We sort of, these are our tunnels, and it seems like everything sort of accepted that these are our tunnels for the most part. Every now and then something comes up, and we try to scare it off. Usually, Gorbo shouting does quite a good job.
Can I pick up anything from this now?
Make a nature check with advantage.
21.
You think that sounds a little bit like a chuul. Chuul.
Chuul.
Yeah. They're not sort of strictly sort of underdark creatures. They appear all over. They are amphibious, insofar as they are as comfortable on land as they are underwater. You haven't personally encountered any, but they are multi-legged, sort of chitinous hide, weird tentacles coming out of their mouth, and large pincers.
Yeah, I'll say that, like what I think they are to the group so they know.
Well, I guess the important question is that something you think we can handle?
Chul or the task at hand? I think probably the Chul, yeah, as long as we're not vastly outnumbered.
It's certainly worth investigating.
We don't know necessarily if that is what happened to Sprock, but the two things have coincided, sort of, even though they haven't made an appearance this far, apparently, in a while. Something got Gerald. When was Gerald's abduction thing? It was probably it would have been a few days ago. I don't know what the timeline is, though.
Yes, that's correct.
A few days.
Yeah.
And do we know if it was this cave, or they said the caves, so I don't know if it would have been this cave.
You reason that this is the caves in question.
I hate to put a sort of urgency to things, but I fear that if we're going to do this, we already have a day that's passed. We probably, for the sake of Sprock, should press on. The longer he is down there, the more likely he is to be. Well, I won't go into options, but you know.
Lunch.
No, I don't think we should have lunch first. I think we should go.
You hear several
Silverius.
of concern when you say that.
Now is not the time for lunch, Silverius.
And you distinctly hear Claire. Actually, you just hear out of the corner of your ear a very small voice say, "Does he really mean it? Are they going to eat Mr. Sprock?" And another one saying, "No, I'm sure that's not what they meant. I'm sure that's not what they meant at all." And you see some very severe eyes glaring over at Silverius.
Claire just kind of mildly elbows Silverius.
He whips his head at you real quick and stares at you and just kind of...
She glares pointedly over at the kobolds having their little whispered conversation.
Well, then, I guess we are off in the interest of haste.
That would be wise. May the horned serpent guide you.
And you.
Looks a little confused. So, you do not have a guide right now.
We don't need one with Bardur.
I'm going to lead. Bardur, you are able to lead.
I am. I will mind the tripwire. Yes.
We will assume that you were able to avoid it a second time.
Oh, that's very kind.
Everybody just avoids Silverius anyway.
Yeah, basically. We'll send him out front.
Yeah.
They used to call me Trap Finder.
Yeah.
Eventually you end up in a very familiar corridor.
Now, is my memory serving right that last time we were here, the creatures had set up an ambush just in front of that door, and we drew them out into this area.
Yes.
Okay.
This is where the purveyor. We met the purveyor as well.
Oh yeah, like in the actual
Yeah, like I think he set up a barrier there.
force field. Yeah.
Yeah, and like he was on in that other room.
I'm not hearing any voices in my head so far, right?
Aren't you?
I think that's all we're hearing.
Is that a general question or is that for Phil? I wanted to keep an eye out on this area because I know they said that this was the general area they were. I wanted to see if there was any like distress or anything like that would give us signs of what maybe happened to Sprock, even though they said they didn't see anything.
Do you have
And
light source?
Anybody,
Is that what you were about to say? Yeah.
I'm about to say, unless anybody said anything, Savarius casts light on Kedox and sends him kind of like flying up to like grab a hold of a stalactite.
Yes.
Tight.
Tight hangs. Tight might use his strength to get out of the ground.
I'm
I
gonna
will try to use that.
There you go.
I'm gonna scramble up the rocks where I hid last time, and I'm gonna draw my bow with an arrow and hide. I'll let them know I'm just gonna keep a, you know.
Okay.
I'm gonna be prepared for trouble.
You sure you don't want to cast Gust?
I'm gonna wait till you're doing something embarrassing and then cast it.
Spider, make perception for me, please.
Okay. 23.
Okay. There's a fair amount of footprints here. Some look like yours from when you were last here. You see little barefooted cobalt prints, plenty of those around. Aside from the sort of the fading signs of the struggle that you had here previously, you don't see anything in this area that suggests a struggle.
Can I looking around, to the sides and up above, are there any holes or anything or anything that it looks like something could get away in, little hidden passages or anything like that?
No, nothing in this stretch. No.
Is this where he said they were? Right here.
This general area is where he was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
And he did say there was an entrance to the lower down section around here too.
On we go.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to
Yeah.
bring this up. How are we approaching this? We, as we've proved before, we can be a bit of a clanky group.
I can help with that. And pass without trace.
It might not hurt. It's always nice to be the surpriser rather than the surprised.
Well, that brings up another potential issue from the standpoint. I know some of our party cannot see in the dark, but a lot of the creatures in the Underdark, because I assume, are we going into the Underdark? Well, that's what this is going to end up being, Phil.
I could logically infer that it is getting a bit under and a bit darky. Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
A little bit
fair
of
enough.
under, a little bit of dark.
Yeah. Okay. So light will attract attention.
Could we keep it to just the barest minimum?
It would probably
Just-
be a good balance because it would be good for Silvarius and Cassette to be able to actually see, but without making us a beacon.
Perhaps a sort of covered light, so that they could at least sort of not trip up, but not enough to necessarily give them really an idea of what they're walking through until needed, perhaps. And then that light can be unleashed if necessary to a more full extent.
Perhaps. Does anybody have a lamp?
So Varius, he just he's like waves his hand at Kedox, and the light snuffs out, and then the light reignites, and he's holding up a dagger, and he just kind of puts it into a sheath, just to the point where it's a real subtle glow, enough to kind of see where his feet steps are. But
That looks pretty good. I don't think you'd see that from around the corner.
It's fair.
Yeah, you can basically make it so it's like about a 5-foot bubble of dim light, effectively.
Well, Cosette, Savarius, you should probably stick together to use the light source.
Stand near, Cosette.
She comes over and tries to start stepping quietly too. In vain, of course.
Tiptoes are like,
Yeah, and as she does that, I will ta-da, pass without trace. So if we're going for an hour, plus 10 bonus to dexterity on stealthy checks.
Do you use a do you use components?
Yeah, but I have a component pouch.
I was just wondering what you used.
Components.
Mistletoe or spruce? Oh, actually, it's all of them, right? Rhubarb leaf, mistletoe, and a sprig of spruce.
Yes.
All the component pouch is put together by your good friend Cato.
Yes. He did us a solid,
Yes.
as the kids would say.
As you root through, you find that there is no spruce and no mistletoe.
Yeah, basically. It's different types
It's
of
just
trees.
Yeah.
it says ashes from a burned leaf of mistletoe and sweet. I mean, who knows what?
It was
Yeah.
the ashes of the former assistant.
He just went out back and swept up some stuff from the back porch
Yeah.
and kind of tipped it in there.
I don't know
Sort of
where
his,
he went.
Singed eyebrow in there too. You're really
Yeah,
lucky.
possible. So what we're saying is we've only got 23 minutes of the spell.
You think you got that much? That's cute.
And pass without a trace is like us dying and no one hearing it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Would you, Badr, do you want me up front to help, or do you want me at the back to make sure nothing sneaks up on us?
I think the back, considering that there seems to be a real threat in that. Having two scouts, basically one in the front, one in the rear, is probably a good idea.
That sounds good. I will resume my position,
Okay. So
and I'll draw my bow, or I'll keep my bow at the ready.
yeah, I'll like kind of get my bow ready as well.
Okay, so Bardor, since you're leading, if you will, just move yourself through the corridor, and we'll just assume that everyone's kind of filing behind for now.
Okay. I am keeping me eyes open for anything that looks funny. Kind of. I'm not moving fast either. Also, to my knowledge, like the kobold actually they patrol this room too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So, so it's not like I have to really start paying attention to traps as much until I get down.
Yeah. You, your previous perception is kind of in effect here. And as you do come into this room, you do see, actually, as you cross basically where that dark line is there on the map, you kind of see in the dirt about an inch thick sort of clearing. There's a straight line that cuts across the path, which, as you kind of think back, tallies with roughly where you would think that barrier was put up, the projected cassette backwards. So it looks like it literally sort of left a sort of a space clear of dust and dirt and rubble. It pushed everything out and left an unusually clear area. But it's only like about an inch thick line, basically in the dirt, or sort of absence of dirt, essentially. You do see over to You're right. That's actually there's a little step down there, maybe like a 6-inch step down. And about 25 feet away, you see what looks like might be a way down into the next layer.
This is the way. I'll go down there and I'll look down and see if there's anything down there.
What you see is a 5-foot vertical tunnel. Drops down about 30 feet or so, and you can see at the bottom very similar ground to what you're standing on now. You can't really see much beyond that because of the angle. It's just
Is there a ladder or anything?
Yes.
Because it's like okay.
Like the ladder's essentially carved into the rock.
Okay.
Are you going down? Into
Yep.
the next one? Okay.
Yep.
Before we go
I'll
down,
go first.
was
Don't
there
tell me
anything
Silverius needs to use the. Oh, okay. Sorry.
basically?
He's going in the corner.
Yeah.
To use the little dragon boy's room.
The little
I cast
latrine?
Gust.
Perfect.
Yikes.
I face away from Eska because never pee into the wind.
For my benefit, what is the order of descent?
I would actually ask Eska to come down second in this case.
I
To
will
help
be
cover.
second to help
To help.
cover.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And Claire can actually go last since she has dark vision too, just to make sure that nothing sneaks up behind Silverius or Cosette.
Look at this teamwork.
Silvarius definitely complains about wanting to go first, but it makes more.
It's tempting to let him.
We'll send
You
him
could
out by
do it.
himself, and he'll suck in all of the stuff. And
Yeah.
whenever they attack him, then we ambush.
Yep.
Yes.
We cast Fireball down the hole and just clear the whole problem.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll go ahead and take a wee break here. Oh, that I didn't mean that quite like that, but hey, it works.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Sure.
Okay, so Bardoor leads the group down into the caverns below. So Silverius and Cosette, you can basically see almost nothing around you at the moment. On the right, you see something sort of orangey red on the wall. You see to your left appears to be a corridor continuing down. This does look like worked stone to an extent, sort of like a combination of worked and natural. Some areas have been smoothed out, that sort of thing. There's a collection of rocks. There's some wood, some scraps of fabric, that sort of thing. Immediately sort of southeast. And then south and west, there's another corridor leading down. There's a large boulder in the middle of the corridor, right at the edge of Bardoor's vision, and that is probably beyond Eska and Claire's vision.
I'll say there's two different ways we can go. And I'll say to the left or basically straight ahead.
And I will ask at this time for everyone to go ahead and roll me their stealth checks, please.
Technically, mine would be a 34, I guess.
Yeah, 34.
13.
It'd be 20.
20.
Yeah, that's right. Silverius, you're at 20.
Oh yeah.
Claire's at
20.
20. Eska's at 20. Just Cassette letting the side down. Interesting. The corridor that was sort of south as you came in, you do hear a little. You hear some strange little squeaking noises coming from down that direction.
Is it sort of like squeaking like a mouse or squeaking like a door?
No.
I see. I shrug at Badur.
So maybe we should check it out.
Is that a familiar sound to you? It doesn't sound like a mouse. It doesn't sound like a door.
The only two squeaks that Eskin.
What else is there?
Yeah, right. Does this sound like it could be a chewel?
Make a nature check.
Got an 18.
Claire's stuck until y'all move, so
Badur. That sounds a little like Sturges to you.
Sturges?
Yes. Relatively harmless to someone of your talents. They're sort of like blood-sucking, flying bat type flesh monster things.
Guess I'll convey that. Probably not necessarily what got our kobold.
Everyone apart from Cosette has a passive over 9, right? I think Cosette has a 9, and everyone else has something higher than that. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And quick rundown. Eska, what languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, and Draconic.
Cosette.
Common, Elvish, and Gnomish.
Claire.
common, dwarvish, sylvan, celestial.
And Savaris.
Common and draconic.
And Bardor.
Common, dwarvish, undercommon.
So, on the wall next to you, what kind of looks like graffiti, to be honest. If you had to guess, you would say that's what it was. It appears to be in dwarvish script, but it's nothing that any of you can read.
If we have some time, I could understand it.
How much time do you need?
10 minutes. I could figure it out immediately, since time is more or less of the essence.
If we're trying to push it, maybe it's better to do that.
It also would give us longer under the under this spell of Badur's.
It's true.
Aye.
So Varius, he walks towards. I guess Bardur was talking about the, or wherever if they gesture him towards it, and he pulls out out of his component pouch. He gets some salt and some soot, and he kind of picks up a little bit of it and throws it into the air and swipes some arcane gestures, and utters the verbal components and casts comprehend language.
You are now aware that this is Orcish. And it reads as follows. Grok is a bastard. He sucks. Or words to that effect. Translation is a little awkward.
Literally is graffiti.
Did you say it was
So-
a little awkward, Phil?
Oof.
Yeah. See, it's a family thing, Spencer, not just me. As Severus is reading,
I'm gonna spit on the ground whenever he says it's Orcish.
the squeaking gets louder,
By the wall?
just in the area.
Oh.
And I'm going to need everyone to actually roll initiative.
Right before we do that, Savarius scratches the knife through the damn graffiti.
It's
That's
a
what
riddle.
gave us away. That's what gave us
And-
away.
I think it was the loud spitting.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Okay, that didn't
Badur
work.
seems like somebody that would spit loudly.
Yeah. So, You see these creatures come out of kind of nowhere, just down the corridor, really. 5 of these creatures come flying down the corridor at you. So, working along, first one here against Silvarius. 12 to hit.
Miss.
That's a 22 to hit. Okay. So this sturge, and it's really gross. Imagine a flying squirrel with no fur, and then with like a weird, almost like echidna-like face, but with a long, sort of weird proboscis on the front. That's what's flying at you and has just latched onto your face briefly. It is now, it grabs onto you, is starting to suck your blood, and does so for 5 piercing damage. You can try and hit it. There's a risk you might hit yourself. You don't know. You can also use an action to detach the creature from you. Eska, next one is trying to attach to you.
I'm going to use my reaction to give it disadvantage.
Okay. It very much misses.
Hooray! Eska looks grateful.
You see the weird flying...
I guess you can't see it, but she looks
bat.
she looks grateful.
And then the final one at bar door also misses. So you have these creatures sort of flapping towards you at the moment. You see one has latched onto Silvarius's neck. It is effectively in his square at this point. Eska, you're up.
Eska, rather than reaching for an arrow, it's kind of so close to her, she just instinctively reaches up a hand, casts Winter's Grasp. 21 to hit.
Oh yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
And 7 cold damage.
So you reach up, grab one of the creatures by the snout. Is that the one directly in front of you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you just grab it by the snout, and the coal just shoots down its body, and it shatters in your hands.
I look a little surprised myself, but I also give myself a grateful look. And I am going to then back up. You can move through friendly creature spaces at half speed, right?
Yeah.
So I move back through Cassette and try and start to ready for an actual attack.
This one here is going to try and latch onto you as you step back.
I figured it might.
15.
That does not quite latch on.
Okay. Cosette.
Okay.
So there's 4 of the creatures left, one on Silvarius's neck.
Uppercut.
I'm going to try to hit the one off of Sylvain.
Excellent.
Do I just do a regular attack?
It would, to take it, to just literally pull it off him, you would just take an action, it would detach it. If you want to hit it, then you're going to roll, and we're going to see what happens.
Okay, let's do that thing. That sounds more fun.
Okay.
So do I do an attack roll, or do I do...
Regular attack.
Gotcha.
Oh.
27.
Silvarius, does a 27 hit?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll for damage.
It sure hits.
It's like swatting a mosquito with a sledgehammer.
The flail swings around in a beautiful arc, splattering into Silvarius's neck. There is just an explosion of gore that you hope is the sturge. Silvarius, you're just covered in little fleshy segments. Silvarius, you will take 3 bludgeoning damage. But the sturge is,
Oh, you're welcome.
is eradicated.
He's paused like he was just about to reach for it, and he just kind of slowly looks at you.
Oh boy. Unless I'm mistaken, you might have a second attack.
Oh, true.
You're welcome to hit the Severus again if you want. I haven't stopped you.
Finish him.
But how do I do more damage? 3 just wasn't enough. Okay, and I can hit the other
Yeah,
one
right
from
there.
where. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
21?
yeah. Yeah.
Oof. Only 6 damage.
Yep. This one explodes, another little splatter of gore. More just going all over Silveris's armor as you swing the flail through, and it kind of like loops back towards and just brings the remains onto Silveris. So, Bardor and Claire, you're up.
I am just going to take a step back, and I'm going to loose an arrow at 1. And first turn, I've got Dread Ambusher.
Yes, you do.
And I'm not going to cast anything else because I'm trying to keep concentration up for Pass Without Trace.
You are considered invisible right now.
Okay. So is that advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll aim the one closest to me.
Sure.
Oh yeah. 23 to hit.
Yes.
And then looks like 16? Okay.
Yeah, that explodes. And you do notice that there is a larger than normal amount of blood in these creatures. And so you're very aware of why that is. Because it is very much like a giant mosquito.
Oh, I really want to kill these things. I'm gonna shoot at the other one in the back.
Yeah.
21. And then it's 11.
I think it's just a 7 now, right? Because Dread Ambusher is for one of the attacks, I think.
Is it one of them? Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, 7.
Yeah, it's fine. It is still well and truly splattered. The sound of squeaking is no more. You find yourselves alone.
Savarius scraping remnants off him.
Thanks, Cosette.
Despite Silvarius, it does look like they've eaten recently. Maybe that's what they were doing down there. We should probably check it out.
With her nose scrunched up in obvious disgust, Claire waves her hand at Silvarius and casts Prestidigitation on the remaining guts on his armor and neck and helps him clean it away.
It's a couple of goes.
As she's doing that, Eska just grabs her hand real quick and says, "Hang on a moment." And she's going to inspect the splatter, looking for kobold blood.
CSI D&D edition.
That's some deep level stuff right there.
This is a bit of a stretch, but I'm, you can only ask, eh?
Make an investigation check.
I like the level of
high DC.
I like the level of like this is really going to work in your voice. That's going to be a 5.
I'm just going to let you know, you were not capable of getting a sufficient DC to figure this out.
Mathematically impossible.
Yes.
Eska sort of smears it
I
around
didn't know
a bit.
that at the time, but now that I've seen what your modifier is, yeah, I'm just let you know.
Eska sort of smears it about a little bit and kind of looks at it on her finger and then says, "Inconclusive. Go ahead."
Claire doesn't know whether to look at disgust at the blood or at Eska now, but proceeds to clean it away.
Eska tries to kind of hold her finger in front of Silvarius to get it prestidigitated, but sort of by proxy.
By proxy.
Yeah. Hoping for a sort of drive-by prestidigitationing.
I mean, it is 1 cubic foot, so probably.
Nice.
So yeah, you can. Silvarius is now for broadly speaking, is now clean.
I'm gonna walk down that way. I'm
Okay.
gonna grab one of the arrows and knock it as I walk down, like from one of the bodies.
Sure. Yep. Easy enough.
Before we run off down whichever direction we're going to, Claire is going to turn around real quick and use prestidigitation again to make a small red X near the where they came out of. Just for reference, because this place seems large.
Okay. Bador, as you come down, you think this actually may be a dead end? You're not 100% sure, but it kind of looks like a dead end at the moment.
Okay. Do I notice anything that would look like a feasting from the Sturges?
No, nothing really that fits that description. You thought you saw something on the far, beyond the boulder, but you can't see it now because the boulder's in the way. But you thought you saw something maybe on that back wall.
All right. Well, I will, carefully go over that way. I would assume is everybody going to come with so they can
I think
this?
I think we've kind of set that precedent that we're sticking together.
Right. I just wanted to make sure.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll kind of come to the outside of this boulder.
You're keeping a careful eye out, right, Badr? I'll give you a hand with that. I'll also keep a careful eye out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm as much as trying.
Go ahead, both roll perception for me.
All right.
13.
Yeah, your dice aren't rolling.
22.
I'm gonna get some new ones.
You don't see anything that could be a trap or anything. There does appear to be a small pile of rubble down on this far wall here. Might actually be a collection of bones. But that's definitely caught your eye.
Do you see any interesting rubble, Badr?
It could be bones. I mean, I'll go to investigate it further.
We should make sure it's not a kobold.
So I will go over.
Take a look through. They look old.
Okay.
But couldn't rule out that there might be some kobold in there. But these aren't fresh bones by any means.
Okay.
You do also, as you're pushing through, find some looks like some scraps of leather. And as you kind of push through a little bit, you hear chinking of metal on metal. You sort of reach in, and there's a little leather pouch in there that clinks reassuringly as you pick it up.
That'd be going straight in Badr's pocket.
Yeah, so that sounds familiar. What you're saying?
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite sound?
All right, I will note that for later.
So at an apparent dead end, and with Silveria still staring at the graffiti.
Really hate this graffiti.
I can't.
This is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Dun dun
In
dun.
the caves.
In the middle of...
Oh yeah.
So, what's in the pouch? I'll look at it then.
Just by the sound of it, you think it's about 22 gold pieces.
He's that practiced at looting corpses.
He doesn't even look in the pouch. He weighs it in his hand and knows.
Yeah, it sounds like 22 gold pieces, but it actually looks like 22 copper pieces. No, it's gold.
Okay, I was like, you son of a...
No, definitely gold.
Thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Tune in next week for more fables from the Pickled Quipper, as we see what the Hand of Aegis get up to after dealing with those dastardly Sturges. Until next time, bye-bye.